to the background. Where's that sound? Let it get louder, louder.
So when I got out of the teams in 2017, Rick Andstrom, sitting across from me, we didn't know each other. And so for 3 years, I spiraled out of control. I didn't know where I was. I didn't remember who I was. I lost my identity. Like, the progressional spiraled down from before I got into the teams till after I got out. And I was only in for 8 years. Rick was in for 20 years. I was only in for 8. In my 8 years, the amount I changed, cognitively, my memory, my recollection, my memory retention. I mean, if you would have just done a play-by-play for each of my 3 platoons, I did 3 consecutive platoons. I was a breacher. You would have noticed a serious decline, and something was going on to where by my 3rd platoon, like you wouldn't have recognized me. I didn't recognize myself. And so when I got out, I didn't know what the fuck I wanted to do. I didn't have a plan. I just knew I was going to move back to Texas, which is my home. And I knew I was going to, I didn't want to work for anybody. And so I started a food trailer. I had $15,000 to my name. And it was just enough money to buy a really cheap food trailer and come up with a plan. And we started a food trailer. And it was actually kind of successful, but it was like not what I was meant to be. Not where I was meant to be and not what I was meant to do. Not people like us with our backgrounds, we're not meant to.
You just wanted more, right?
Yeah.
Dripping Wings is badass.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome wings.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
But
I get it. You want more purpose.
We're born for something.
Yeah.
And that wasn't it. And I was doing it. I was making it happen. I was forcing, a square peg into a round hole. But it wasn't where I was meant to be. And you knew that. And so when our paths cross, Rick comes, he sees me. I don't know if somebody tipped you off and said, hey, there's a team guy over here running this, or how. I don't even know how that happened. But I remember when Rick came, he's like, hey, dude, you got a minute? Let's go have some wings. Let's talk, have a beer. And then that's kind of like, we'll get into that more later, as to what happened after that moment. But, since then, everything has changed, and it's all led to this podcast. I'm going to join you here one second.
Yeah.
So since then, everything has changed, and now we're here sitting across from each other doing a fucking podcast.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
And you know how my life's changed. We've kept in touch very well.
Yep.
And I know how your life has changed. All right. And so here we are. And so I want to toast, and I thought it's fortuitous that you are my first guest.
Love you, brother.
Episode 1 of my podcast. Oh.
No, it's been interesting. I mean, we've talked about this a lot, just how much you have changed, and I was in a similar dark spot a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
After I got out of the teams, I was in the teams 20 years, Navy 25. And when I met you, I was happy I could help in some capacity. And, cause I'd seen it in me and I'd started helping a lot of people doing that. But to where you're at now, in the last few years, it's fucking unbelievable. There's an energy about you and a glow, and it radiates, and I'm just so happy. I fucking tell you all the time how happy I am for you. You got so much purpose, fucking drive and different things. You got an awesome woman, all those things,
Yeah. Thank you.
You too. Big deal. Me too. Yeah.
You've done so many different things. Like, so when I met you, I didn't want to jump into the psychedelic side of everything right away. Actually, before we start, it's Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, man.
All right. We're here. We're drinking whiskey, surrounded by our best friends. Yep. Right. Thank you guys for being here, by the way. But there's a lot of families they have an empty seat at the table. Okay. All right. They gave their lives so we could be here enjoying these moments. Okay. It's Memorial Day weekend. We know what this weekend means. The majority of us do. Right. So I just want to take a moment to pause and reflect and think about somebody that you knew, that you lost. Right. And what that means for us here today as we sit here and enjoy this moment, this hour, 2 hours, whatever this podcast is going to turn into. Like, it's important that we reflect and realize that, a lot of men and women gave their lives so we could be here doing this. Yeah. And I don't think enough appreciation is given. There's a lot of people out there that sit there and say, thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. How many times have you heard thank you for your service in your life?
Yeah, a lot, but I try to appreciate it. It's hard, it's uncomfortable for people, and so I try to just see it from that perspective. But you're right, I get it.
But it's thank you for your service isn't just a motto. Like, in my opinion, it's one of the things I guess that bugged me the most when I got out of teams is like so many people. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. It's like a talking point that you now hear in news.
Yeah.
It's like, why is everybody echoing the same thing? Like, thank you for your service, in my opinion, and I have nothing but respect. If it comes from a sincere place, I appreciate it. We all appreciate it. Thank you. But thank you for your service is more about how you live your life, how you treat other people, right? How you treat your neighbors. Like when you see people that are down, helping them, right?
Yeah.
Right. So like,
Okay, good point.
you know, veterans that are out there that are sacrificing and they're potentially giving up their life, you know, for the ideals of our country. I think it's important that we show them in other ways than just saying thank you for your service. And I know there's a lot of people out there, and I don't want to diminish anything that's going on out there, but there's a lot of people that just say it.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, I do agree with that.
So, but anyways, neither here nor there. I don't know, but it is Memorial Day weekend, so you know, have a great time. Be safe out there. Think about somebody. I think the latest statistic I saw was like over 17 and a half veterans are killing themselves every day.
Yeah.
Right. And that's something that is avoidable. War is war. War is ugly. We understand that. But suicide is preventable.
Yeah.
And really it's all about just reaching out to those that you know. Right. And so on this day, like we were talking about being fortuitous, having Rick here is very special to me because what Rick is doing is finding veterans, or what he used to do, and he still does in his spare time, is finding operators and veterans that are in really dark places. And they, like I talked about with me when I got out for 3 years, I spiraled and I couldn't find myself. There's thousands of us out there that are going through this. Rick went through it. I went through it, right? All of our closest friends have all gone through this, or they're going through it. And it's like, there is help out there. And I don't want to get too like mushy or any of the shit, but it's real and it fucking works. And I'll let you talk more about that, Rick.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, let's go back to when you met, what did you see in me? And so like, think of it like if people are saying, hey, I know somebody that might need it. What did Rick see in Shawn? Start from there.
Yeah, let me back up just a hair behind that, and I'll tell you kind of how it started for me. Again, same place, 2019. I retired and in a bad spot, suicidal, relationships, negative. I felt like a shell of a man, and I was doing some brain treatment out in San Diego, and 6 weeks of it. It was helpful. And I remember asking the technician, a buddy of mine, also named Shawn, spells it differently. I was like, hey, is there anything more effective than this? And he was like, absolutely, psychedelics. And, coming out of the Navy, I was like, okay, I went home and researched all the shit out of it. And Shawn took me and a good friend of mine, a team guy, his brother was also a team guy. And we did a psilocybin journey, a heroic dose. And I fucking bawled my eyes out afterwards.
Explain what a heroic dose is.
Heroic dose, so you have, like with psilocybin, let's say magic mushrooms. A heroic dose is generally considered about 5 grams or more, but it's not in a recreational setting. It's an intentional thing where you have a dedicated playlist. It's been, Johns Hopkins does great playlists that really navigate the entire experience. There's other ones out there, but the heroic dose, it's something, you put an eye mask on and you have somebody sitting that's not on the medicine, and it can have very profound effects, right? It can change your life. And that initial one did for me. And did a second one, and I just remember I feel like a different person. Started to learn more about it, and Marcus and Amber Capone through vets, somebody turned me on to them back in 2019. So I reached out, spoke with Marcus on the phone for a good 45 minutes, and I felt like I had hope, right? More hope. I already had a little bit of hope with this, but Marcus and Amber, they got me down to Mexico. Probably within a couple of months, and it was a life-changing experience. Because it's less about just taking the medicine or the sacrament, or however you want to call it, but there's a preparation period, right? They have psychologists that work with you, and a lot of this stuff's been said before. But then you go down and do the retreat down in Mexico, where you do ibogaine and then 5-MeO-DMT, and all I went there expecting was, I was like, I just want my TBI, any mental trauma, I just want that shit fixed. And the interesting part is it fixed relationships with my mom, like ibogaine, just the experiences.
Specifically your mom.
Specifically my mom, but also me, and a couple of the journeys, and people have different insights, but it was almost like a Rick appreciation. You know, it panned out and showed my life, showed the things that I do, and I was like, I remember writing notes, and it said Rick's kick-ass life. It just kind of gave me perspective, but then also a perspective. My mom and I didn't have the greatest relationship. Parents were divorced. She moved me from Minnesota down to Texas when I was a little kid, and I remember resenting her my entire life.
First off, she did you a favor by doing that?
Exactly. No, I know. I've got this shirt that says Texan as fuck, right? I think JP, whatever, I forgot the guy's name, but red hair dude. And I was like, this is the whole time when all the identifying as, I'm like, oh, fuck it, I identify as a Texan, I'm wearing this shirt. Same thing. But yeah, so, the experience was awesome. It just changed the relationship with my mom. It showed me a perspective of her life through abuse and sexual abuse and getting, rescuing the kids and bringing us down. And so it just really kind of changed how I looked at shit. And then there was 5-MeO-DMT, the God molecule. And I was an atheist for the majority of my life. And again, I was just wanting PTSD and TBI kind of taken care of. And I had this experience, and within an hour, I went from a lifelong atheist to nobody will ever tell me that the experience that I had was not real.